Hello everyone and welcome back to From Our Basement Gaming.
Hi everybody.
Today we are going to be playing Dr. Mario. It's just a little fun one-off thing.
Yep.
To finish off the
Month.
Yep, or at least the Wednesday of the month.
Yep. Before we tackle another big adventure game.
And this is actually, I stand corrected. We actually are finishing off the month with this.
Yep.
And we'll have a brand new, longer Let's Play for Wednesdays.
Yep. Just in time for December.
In December, yep, we'll be getting back to Echo in December as well.
Yep, that is the goal.
And hopefully finishing up Spyro Year of the Dragon as well.
Yep.
So.
I have confidence.
Now, in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh, it's going to take us a little while longer.
We've been hard at work.
It might have to be a 2024 comeback to finish off Forbidden Memories. In terms of what we'll play after that, for Thursdays, we might do another Yu-Gi-Oh game because we enjoy doing them. But haven't quite decided yet.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's either we will either play the game that came out before before Forbidden Memories, or the one after. So yeah. And I mean, if you guys want to, actually probably could do a poll, but it'll probably take a while because we have to finish Forbidden Memories first. But maybe I will do a poll to see what you guys prefer, because ultimately we probably will do both of the games I'm thinking about. Which I guess I could tell you what those two are now, and then later I will come out with a poll, probably on YouTube community. It'll probably happen next year sometime. But we were thinking of, once we beat Forbidden Memories, which I don't know how long that'll take, but once we do that, we will either go back and play Dark Duel Stories, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories, which was a Game Boy Color game, which I think is the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Game we got in the US. It is not the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game, but it is the first one we got here. So we will either do that, or we will play the we will play maybe Duelists of the Roses,
That's possible.
which is a PlayStation 2 Yu-Gi-Oh! Game.
Certainly bring more PS2 action.
Yeah, someday, I have a few, I have a collection of a few Yu-Gi-Oh! Game Boy Advance games. So if you guys really, really are liking the Yu-Gi-Oh! And you want us to play more, we'll probably at some point play some Game Boy Advance Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. I have a few that range just between being a tournament type thing where you just play against the characters in a tournament, there's not really much of a story, to a really weird one that I naively called a Mario Party ripoff, but it's not even close to a Mario Party ripoff. It's just a really strange dice game type thing. It's not dungeon dice monsters. It's hard to explain. So it's either that one, and we have one that I kind of feel like is almost like a role-playing game with dueling, where you play through. You play through as a self-insert character that is, a character in the anime, and it takes place probably roughly around Battle City season of Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's unique story. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it. And there's a sequel to it that... well, I didn't beat the first one, so I haven't really played a lot of the sequel, because it is a direct sequel to the first one. But it seems really cool, and I think it would be fun to play on the channel. And you would hear more of our voice acting. We will just have to decide ahead of time who's being which character.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, we'd have to.
Because sometimes in our ambition to read it to you, we sometimes both try to read or end up taking a character that the other started as,
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, so we just thought we'd do Dr. Mario, a little casual thing here today. It's our first puzzle game we've played on the channel, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is our first.
Which we probably won't do a lot of these because they're kind of very similar. No offense to puzzle games, but a lot of them are like this, a sort of almost Tetris-like thing.
Yeah. This is definitely a game you play in color.
Yeah. Yeah, thank goodness it's in color. Because there's not enough variety to play it in black and white.
Right. I do not know how many people did that, but...
I don't know. But yeah. Other than this one, and maybe a Sonic one, we probably won't play a lot of puzzle games on here.
Oh yeah, Sonic did have a puzzle game.
Yeah, Sonic did.
Yeah, what did he do?
Which was a very unique puzzle game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... yes. Yeah.
Yep. It's tame in the first few levels, but then it gets crazy.
So yeah, we're just gonna chill and chat and sorry you're gonna hear the crinkling of my snack, my protein bar.
That's alright. It's been a crazy set of months, hasn't it, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rather stressful few months, so...
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that unnecessary zoom in HDMI. There we go.
Yeah. Unnecessary zoom in. It's like standing room only.
I hear there's gonna be a new WarioWare game coming out.
WarioWare.
Yeah. That looks interesting. It looks like they're incorporating some two-player co-op.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Which is
very interesting.
Probably a first because I think in most of the WarioWare games any two-player stuff is versus.
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
That was the norm with WarioWare and his computer game. Well, video game, really.
Yeah. So we got some exciting stuff going on.
That we do.
By the time you're watching this, the Super Mario RPG remake is already out.
Yeah, I've heard of this remake of RPG.
Yes, I feel a little mixed about it. I don't know. You know how I feel about companies trying to get me to buy a game I already own.
Yeah.
Just because they made it prettier, you know?
Yes.
Although I do not quite feel that way about Super Mario RPG. I'm one of those people that was iffy about the art style. I know I'm not the only one. So,
that is true.
But the one that I could be the only one for is being iffy about the soundtrack. But I'm guessing maybe not, because I did hear they were going to allow you to toggle between the classic soundtrack and the new one.
Interesting.
Yeah. But as somebody who's perfectly fine with playing older games and seeing no need to make them updated or like polished, so to speak, to make them look brand new, I'm kind of like unsure, because you've heard me talk about this before on this channel. Like, that's why I haven't bought Spyro Reignited Trilogy or Crash Insane Trilogy. It's because I owned those games on the PlayStation. I don't feel the need to buy the games I already owned just for a few little extra features.
Right.
And for new animation style, and also new voice acting in the case of Crash and like the first Crash game and the first Spyro game, because they re-record. For example, with Dr. Cortex, they re-recorded. Actually, really, with all three, they re-recorded with the current voice actor that portrays Dr. Cortex.
I see.
Which even though I like his current voice actor, it didn't sit well with me that they wanted to. I guess I kind of get wanting to replace his voice in the first game, but I didn't like them replacing Clancy Brown's voice.
Right. Considering
yeah.
the first game, they had the same voice for
yeah, the same guy doing Crash.
All the male characters.
Which I'm guessing was a small budget. So I get re-recording for the first one, but the fact that to me, they could have just spruced up the original lines, like, remastered them or something. Yeah. I didn't feel like they had to re-record them. And in the case of Spyro the Dragon, and man, I really have to commit this guy's name to memory, but I have not yet. But
it's alright.
I think I've told you guys, I like the guy who did Spyro's voice in the first game the most. I thought he was the best Spyro. Tom Kenny is also very good as Spyro, but it wasn't quite the same to me. It wasn't quite as good as a match. And before you guys get upset, I am a huge Tom Kenny fan. I think I've made that clear on here before. I just, even with somebody I really love, I still felt like the other voice was a better fit for Spyro. So yeah, the fact that in the Reignited trilogy they had Tom Kenny re-record his lines, I'm like, oh, that's another point against it. And Spyro looks completely different artwork-wise. They just completely revamped the design of everybody.
They did.
And I am like, but I have no problem with the original designs, so.
Right.
So anyway, long story short, that's why I am not sure if I will actually buy the Super Mario RPG remake. I might just boot up my Super Nintendo and play Super Mario RPG.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe I'll try to actually beat it because I haven't quite beaten it yet.
Yeah, I think you can.
I was close, guys. I just didn't quite beat it.
No. Takes practice.
I'm like stuck at the Axum Rangers part.
Ooh.
Yeah. So. But hey, one day we might play that on our channel, so.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Okay.
It is our hope to play some RPGs on our channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
The role-playing game.
And I know those are longer form, but...
They are much longer.
And something we're debating about that we haven't really decided yet is whether we will ever do Pokemon.
Yes.
Because that would be a long haul type of thing.
Yes. Very much a long haul deal.
Because you know how much grinding...
Yes, I do know how much grinding Pokemon takes.
Now what we probably would end up doing is not show you guys all the grinding and just show you like the footage that involves new stuff, like if we're catching new Pokemon or battling trainers, like the new stuff, and we probably would do extra grinding off the channel.
Yeah.
If we ended up doing Pokemon. Let us know in the comments if you're interested in any of this stuff.
Oh yeah, please do.
No, and apparently we beat the first threshold, so...
Yep.
We're basically just gonna play until we hit 30 minutes and then we'll go.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
that's the plan, anyway. So, yeah. So, I'm very confused about the lore with these guys. Are they alien viruses?
I thought they were.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, admittedly it had been a very long time since... Actually, I didn't really have this game when I was a kid.
I don't... Hold on. I didn't either.
Yeah. I had the Tetris on the Game Boy growing up. And I think a lot of people had Tetris on Game Boy.
I actually did not own Tetris.
Interesting.
No, yeah.
Interesting.
I think one of my family members may have, but I did not.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Let's see if I can get that there. Perfect. Let's get rid of these yellows. Okay. Oops. Yeah, solid side. Blue, reds. But yeah, I always was curious about that because I know this game is equally well beloved.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know in the comments if you had this game growing up.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of you watching our show have.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few who had a Nintendo.
Yep. Or if you were brave, Game Boy.
I heard it's not quite as good on the Game Boy.
Uh-huh.
Mainly because of the original Game Boy's color limitation.
Yep. Playing this game in grayscale. Or
that weird greeny.
Yeah. Because admittedly, as a boy, that was one of the problems I had with Game Boy. It was fun, but the graphics would smear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why when the Game Boy Color came out, I immediately jumped to getting a Game Boy Color.
Oh, I fully understand you wanted to get a Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Full color graphics and clearer.
Yeah, definitely
Graphics.
a lot easier to see.
Yeah.
And even though you still kind of needed to be in a well-lit place, it wasn't quite as bad as the original Game Boy, where, like, if you were trying to play that out in the car, it was very hard to see.
It was. Very hard to see.
Excuse me, which sucked because, whoa...
This is,
HDMI's at it again.
Yeah, that it is.
Not for you guys, but for us.
Yeah, you guys get to enjoy a normal telecast. We're the ones struggling with...
Yeah, ours looks like a...
It's an eyesore.
Yeah, if you guys are familiar with TV antennas, it looks kind of like when you can't get the image in well on high
definition my tail. This is
on like there it's back.
Good.
On like analog TV.
Yeah.
Or also another option that's equally as old, a VHS that is near the end of its life. The picture is like shaky. Yeah.
Yes. You know, the ones that your younger sibling like threw across the room all the time and had no care because you could buy those things for like $5 easily in back in ye days of thanks.
Yeah, or you had just recorded on it so many times that it was falling apart.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. You know that thing that everybody's trying to recreate with
not as good. I hate to sound critical.
With filters, but yeah, well, you know, you and I have experienced the real thing, so of course it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kev and I had actually grew up with VHS, so we actually remember the picture quality was actually pretty good if it was a new, well taken care of tape, but...
Yeah, we were basically in the era where, you know, DVDs came out when we were kids.
Yeah.
So, like, before that point, we had videotapes. We had VHSs.
Right.
So we experienced DVDs when they were brand new, too.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And even they had their difficulties at the start.
Yeah.
Like, some of the early DVDs were just a rip of the VHS tape on disc.
Yeah, and we noticed that, you know, watching some of the cartoons we grew up with, you know, we got DVDs of them. And sometimes we're like, yeah, this is remastered, good quality, and then the next episode we're like, oh, they ripped this from the VHS, didn't they? You can, you know, since we're watching on an HD TV, you can tell. If you were on like a standard def television, maybe it wouldn't be noticeable.
Right.
But nothing gets past the HD TV, that's for sure.
Sadly, no.
Yeah.
I remember people complaining how horror movies didn't look as good in HD.
Right.
Oddly enough, because...
That makes sense. Especially older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest folly was that the special effects sometimes got exposed, so you could see what actually happened, and that ruined the illusion that a lot of the horror movies were going for. But
Yeah, because before CGI was used so much, they actually used props and cool camera tricks. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff looked real.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they took advantage of the limitations of technology at the time.
yeah.
And that's why something is lost with CGI, because there is really no limit to what you can do, which is great, that's a positive thing, but at the same time, because you have access to such a wide array of things and you can make it look however you want, it's not quite as impressive, you know what I mean?
I do.
If everybody can do it, then it loses its impressiveness. Where, like, back when you had to work with the limitations of technology, making movies, it was really impressive what feats they could do, and that they put all their hard work into making it look real, or as real as they could, and that's what made it impressive. And then on the other hand, you have on the other end when it doesn't look good, but it's fun because it's kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
You kind of lose that now with all the CGI.
You do.
And I think we're a little too over dependent on CGI. Like things we could do, that I feel like directors could do, or movie sets could do with real actors, or real props. They just use CGI, and it just comes off as a little lazy to be over dependent on the CGI.
Yeah.
Like, kind of flexing your budget more so than
Telling a story.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said that special effects without a story is a very boring thing.
Wow. And I mean, we've seen some modern movies that show what happens when you use CGI too much.
Oh yeah.
And also when it ends up not looking good, since everybody and their brother is doing it, you get judged much more harshly. So, yeah. I think that's part of the reason why it's been harder for me to find anime that I'm impressed with now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah. Or that I like the look of, because a lot of it is getting less and less done by hand and more done by a computer.
That's not good.
Which I was fine with it when it was like they still did it by hand but used a computer to assist. Like
to clean up the sprites and to make the animation flow.
Yeah, make it crisper, or maybe they have backgrounds that they put in with the computer, and that saves them a little bit of time because they don't have to painstakingly draw the backgrounds by hand.
Yeah. Something that
Yeah.
assists and advances the production as opposed to
Replaces it.
Yeah.
Or nearly replaces it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, I've just come to realize, and it's probably because I'm prone to migraines, but when something is too bright and moves too quickly, I actually don't enjoy it. It gives me a horrible headache. So yeah, there are actually some things where, like, the story sounds interesting, but I can't make it through an episode because it's too bright, and the CGI assisted movements make it too jarring, and it's
I get weirded out when they intentionally make it look horrible.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I feel like a lot of people don't think that the CGI stuff looks horrible. I think that's kind of just my thing. Or me and a small group of people like me. I don't know.
I don't think you're alone on that.
Thanks. So yeah, if you ever want to know why I'm not watching the currently trending anime, that's a big reason.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I have friends telling me, oh, you should watch this or you should watch that. And I'm like, and then I look at the trailer for it and I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to have a good time with the way that's animated.
Yeah.
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 Also, because I feel like, I don't know, if my anime starts to look too much like a video game, I get very annoyed because I would rather play a video game at that point.
Understandable.
So yeah. Oh, we are actually past 30 minutes so we'll just finish this puzzle.
Yeah.
We're not that far past. It's only 31:30. So
Yeah.
once we finish this puzzle, we will go. And thanks for listening to me rant.
Yeah.
And chatting. I hope you enjoyed what we were talking about.
I hope so too, because yeah, I know that some people, I don't know, do some people like it when the picture quality is not good? Or, I don't know, is it an artistic choice?
Like, you mean when they purposely make it look bad?
Yeah.
I think that's an artistic choice.
I see.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of prefer stuff that looks pleasing to the eye myself.
Yeah.
Unless the story's like really, really good. Alright guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next month. Bye.
Yeah, we will. Take care, everyone.